Hello and good morning. Happy Sunday morning to my Sonder fam diamonds. We're going to shine bright this morning and we are going to work on setting up our journal for this first week of April. Believe it or not, we are in the month of April and we are getting ready to dive in to another month, a new quarter, right? So I'm so happy to have you here. I saw a lot of folks from Minnesota, but then I saw some from down south in Alabama. Always see some folks in California. We got folks from all over, all different corners of the US joining us. My name is Maya, and I am coming to you from Aurora, Colorado, which is a suburb of Denver. And it is in the mid 40s this morning, which is kind of nice, but it's also very windy. We've had a lot of wind these last few days. So been a little obnoxious. It's supposed to be warm today, but we've got snow coming, I think, on Tuesday, but that's okay. That's what happens here in Colorado in April. So we're going to roll with it. If you have never been to a social before, just pop in the chat and say me or I'm new or something like that. Get kind of an idea of how many new folks. Oh, Christina, Sally, Lauren, Carol. Oh, there it goes. There goes the chat. Everybody saying I'm new. Awesome. Love it, love it, love it. So we do these socials and we have kind of a couple different kinds of socials. This one is about setting up part of your journal. And we also have a monthly setup as well that I did yesterday evening. And so really the focus of those is really kind of helping you a lot of times understand kind of what's the deal with this journal? What are they thinking with some of these pages? How does this work? And really setting up to be successful for the week. Then we also have some socials that are more geared toward filling out some of the pages, some of the journaling pages. So I think there's, what do we have in there? We have the Wheel of Life that's coming up this week. We've got a vibrant collage. We've got a create your own bingo. We've got the vibrancy prompts, vibrancy energy. So lots of different ways we spend time working on making sure that we fill out all of our pages that we want to for the month. So this one, we're really going to focus on the weekly setup. Couple of housekeeping details. With me today is Jennifer O. She might pop on camera here in just a second and give you a little wave if you might be able to see her. There she is. Hi, Jennifer. She'll be keeping an eye in the chat if you're having any questions, concerns, not quite sure what I was talking about, want a little clarification on something, that kind of thing. You can pop in there. I try to keep an eye on the chat as well, but sometimes it gets going a little fast. So that's the other thing too, is we have our chat. People share ideas, thoughts, kind of what they're doing. Sometimes it gets rolling a little fast. So you can usually kind of click in there and hang, kind of scroll back down and be able to kind of scroll up and down and see what people put on there. Some people, when they join our socials, they ignore the chat, right? They're focused completely on working on their journal. They listen to me, they listen to the music we play, and they're completely focused on journaling. Absolutely fine. Some people like to just take notes and take screenshots of the different slides and write on Post-it notes. And then when the social is over, they go back in and spend more of their own quiet, reflective time filling that out. Again, totally up to you. And sometimes it varies for people, right? Sometimes they really want to focus on the journal. Sometimes they're really focusing on the fun collaboration, idea exchange that's going on in the chat. So you do you. Do what makes you feel good. Again, this really is for you to give yourself some dedicated time. We have an hour together. So it's kind of that dedicated time for us to work on our journals, right? And Jennifer's even saying, I never finish my setups at the actual setup social. It's a lot of times it's just that idea generating. So fantastic, fantastic. We're so happy that you are joining us. Also want to make sure that you remember to set your chat to everyone, right? So when you, if you go down, when you start to write, it'll say to, sometimes it defaults to host and panelist, which means that only myself and Jennifer will be seeing what you write. So you want to switch that over to everyone. And unfortunately, it's a little obnoxious if you're on a phone or an iPad because it keeps defaulting back to the host panelist every time. So you have to remember to keep switching. But just remember that if you post something, and if you have a question and nobody's answering you or no one's chiming in, they may not have seen it. So again, only Jennifer and I can see, excuse me, when you have host and panelist. And Jennifer will remind you if you have it set that way. She's like, hey, just a reminder, only Maya and I can see this. So just a little bit of that. So this month you've probably seen the exciting new theme. We have a theme every month, a new theme that kind of helps guide our thinking and our overall work for the month. And this month is vibrance. And I think it's such a fun theme, and just really kind of thinking about this state of being full of energy and full of life as we go through the month of April. And it's perfect for April. Yes, Tina, it's perfect for April, spring. I feel like the earth is coming back alive, or at least in the northern hemisphere, right? Things are coming back. They've got fall going on down in the southern hemisphere, but I don't think we've ever had anybody from the southern hemisphere join us. It's always been from the northern hemisphere, but full of energy and full of life. So as I say that, I also want to remind us of our community guidelines here in these socials, and also in the Sonder Club if you're on the app, right? We want to make sure that this is a safe space for people to share, for people to get ideas, share their thoughts, kind of get that support and that uplifting positivity, right? So we're going to be kind and courteous to ourselves and others. We're not going to have promotions or spam or anything like that in the chat. If you have links for something that somebody's asking for, that's okay, but we're not kind of here for self-promotion. Respecting everyone's privacy, definitely no hate speech or bullying. If you have any customer care questions, like you haven't gotten your journal yet, or something, trying to use a gift card, we ask that you email hello@silkandsonder.com, and Jennifer will put that email address. She's got that right there in the chat. So if you have those kinds of questions, you can email them, because they will be better equipped to help you than Jennifer and I are. And then also like to remind folks that Sonder Socials really are a tool to help elevate your emotional health through the power of community, right? But ultimately, you're responsible for your own emotions, well-being, and decisions. So sometimes there's a prompt, sometimes there's something we're working on that doesn't resonate. Maybe it's slightly triggering, not feeling good about it. It's okay to ignore it, right? Tune it out, work on something else, work on your coloring page, maybe do some doodling, work on another section, listen to the music, and then move on. This is really all about creating that safe space for you to be able to work on this journal as you need to. All right. Okay. So here's our agenda for today. We're going to work on a vibrance mind map. Every week during the weekly setups, we want to give you a chance to dive a little bit deeper into the monthly theme in different areas of your life. So this month it's vibrance. We'll dive into that idea in one little area, and each week will be a different area. We're going to do our rosebud thorn that we do every week to kind of help us reflect on the previous week. Then we're going to go into the setup on those 2 pages in your weekly setup, and then we're going to close it out. And I have always have these 2 little pictures here, these little graphics from the artist, The Latest Kate. And she has really fun, uplifting pictures with these different sayings. And I really like the one, "There's room for you here just as you are." So some of us come to these socials and our life, things are rocking, right? Our work is rocking, career going great, going to school, our kids are doing what we need them to do, spouses, significant others, everything is just really jiving, and we just want to celebrate some of these wins, right? We are here for you. We love to celebrate the wins of our Sonder fam, right? Yes, and Julia, I definitely would love to be in that pile of kittens. That would be awesome. Conversely, sometimes folks come in and maybe they're having a bad time. Maybe they're struggling a little bit. Maybe they have been ill, or a family member has been ill. Maybe someone has passed away. They're struggling with their job, or maybe they've lost their job, or something is happening. And they think, oh, maybe I shouldn't share because I'll be a downer, I'll be depressing. And that is not the case. We are here. Yes, we love to celebrate the wins, but we're also here to support you during those struggle times, because that's really how life is, right? Kind of those ebbs and flows, struggles and happiness, and good times and bad times. And we're really here to help you with that. So don't ever feel like you can't share because you're going to bring the mood down, or you're going to sound too peppy or anything like that, right? So love that you can share. And also the other little creature there says, "The way you feel matters, and no emotion you feel is bad or unworthy," right? No one can tell you how you should feel. So our feelings are valid, our feelings are real. So any of the feelings that you have, any of the ways that you're filling out some of these pages really are unique to you. And that's what we love to celebrate. So let's dive into that idea of that vibrance mind map. So this month, we're gonna explore vibrance in some different areas of our life, different aspects. So we've got 4 weekends this month that we're gonna focus on vibrance. And this week, we are going to focus on the idea of a vibrant life. And when we say that, thinking about this idea of vibrance and a vibrant life, think about what are the things that put you into a vibrant flow state. Have you ever heard of the phrase flow state, or someone's in flow? I'll show you some quotes and kind of where that comes from here in just a second. But the idea is that you're really just like in the groove, right? You're doing something that just really kind of takes all your attention, all your energy. You're excited, you're feeling good. You're just in that flow state. Time stands still. It's kind of like just this magical time that you're working. So what we want to do is think of those things that help you with the vibrant life, and think how maybe you can incorporate those things into your week, right? So this is what I did. Now you can use a blank page if you would like. You can use the scratch pad section of your weekly setup. You can use scratch paper, whatever works for you. I decided to use the self-portrait on page 16. We're not going to be doing that in any of the socials. And some people are kind of thinking like, I don't really like to draw. So I thought this might be a good place, possible suggestion for some place that you can work where you're drawing your most vibrant self, so you can think about this vibrance in your different areas of life. So I drew a little diamond, and Jennifer is going to throw in, and believe me, I'm not an expert sketcher or doodler or drawer. And so I Googled how to draw a diamond, right? And I found a website and just kind of, I can follow along really well with like, draw a line, draw a line. So I did that and kind of made this little diamond here with this idea of sparkling. You can do whatever you like. You can find a blank page and kind of quadrant it off. Again, kind of what works for you. So this idea of this vibrant life, this flow state, is there's a balance when you're doing something. There's a balance between challenge and skill, right? So it's challenging, you're working on a skill, kind of getting into that flow state. And so this comes from a researcher who, I'm probably not going to say his name right. I had to kind of write down how to say it. I'm probably not going to say it exactly right, but it's Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi, which is probably not the right way to say it. I always have to Google how to say it, and then I hear it, and then I can never hold it. So we're going to call him MC. Yes, Jennifer says we're going to refer to him as MC. And he says, when you're in this flow state, the ego falls away, time flies, every action, movement, and thought follows inevitably from the previous one, like playing jazz. Your whole being is involved. You're using your skills to the utmost. So some examples of that are oftentimes creative pursuits, or maybe education when you're learning something, playing a sport, or any sort of specific skill-related project. So when I was kind of thinking what puts me into a flow state, knitting. I love knitting, and I can knit and knit for hours and kind of totally lose track of time, right? Or reading, sometimes get lost in a good book and can kind of put me in that flow state, really kind of, losing track of time. Maybe it's tackling a spreadsheet. For me, I kind of like the challenge of trying to figure out how to maybe create some graphics or create some charts with some data. That's a fun thing for me. Doesn't necessarily mean it's a fun thing for you. Working in the garden or working outside, working in the backyard, just kind of being back there and digging in the dirt and feeling the sun and being in the fresh air really kind of puts me in that flow state. Drawing, even though I would not say that I'm great at it, I enjoy those tutorials where they kind of walk you through the different steps to do. One of my favorite things to do when I'm in Disneyland, I go to California Adventure. They have the little drawing workshop, and they'll walk you through how to draw a Disney character, which is super fun. I just really enjoy and get really absorbed in that idea. Journaling, when I'm writing, or also I was thinking talking with like-minded people. So sometimes, have you ever noticed when you talk with somebody else who's excited about something and how excited you get, and you both just are talking about the thing, and it's so exciting and it's so fun to hear. So that's another thing that I kind of think of when I think of this idea of flow state, right? And There's some tips for achieving flow: setting clear goals, eliminating distraction, adding that element of challenge, right? We want our brains to work a little hard. We don't get into a flow state when it's something that we can just do without even thinking, right? That's not usually the flow. So you can also practice meditation and mindfulness, and the all important enjoying what you do, right? So I'm going to play a little song. I'm going to let you work on your vibrance. Again, whatever that looks like. If you want to draw a diamond, if you just want to draw those 4 quadrants, if you just want to write it out in the scratch pad, think about what are those things. When is there a time when you really just feel time stands still? There's no aspect of time. You're just working and you're just moving, and just kind of going forward and feeling that flow state. So feel free to share in the chat kind of what kinds of things. Yes, Jessica, well, an uninterrupted nap might not be a flow state, but maybe that's a precursor to getting into the flow state, or maybe that's after the flow state when you're feeling kind of tired. So yes, and Todd, I saw some folks were having trouble. Their kiddos are banging on the keyboard. That's okay. They want to participate too, right? So I'm going to play a little song, let you work on that, and we'll check back in here in just a few minutes, all right? All right, love some of the ideas. A lot of folks mentioned things that involved moving your body, right? Movement really helps us get into that flow state, even if it's going for a walk. Oh, Katie loves scuba diving. I don't scuba, but I snorkel, and I just love kind of getting in there with the fish and getting in there in the water. A lot of people also talked about nature, right? Getting your hands dirty, digging in the dirt. Reminds me of that Peter Gabriel song, right? Digging in the dirt. But yeah, just any of those things that you do in nature, those things that you do that you put some effort into and you're really enjoying, right? You're really having fun. I loved the playing board games or playing card games. I was visiting a friend last month, and her and I and her kiddos, they love that I love playing board games and card games. And we were digging into a game called Sushi Go. If you haven't played the card game Sushi Go, it's super fun. Even younger kiddos can do it because it doesn't involve a lot of reading or really complicated rules. And it's fairly quick that you can kind of go through each round. Oh, yep, Julia plays it. Love it. And there's also a Sushi Go party. So there's like expansion pack kinds of things you can get. Super fun. And we would play that for hours and you wouldn't believe that it had been an hour, right? It was like, oh my gosh, where did the time go? Because I was having so much fun and I loved what I was doing, right? As opposed to like time on a treadmill or time that you're doing something really kind of drudgery kinds of things. So see if you can figure out a way. Jennifer actually put a link to, I think the Sushi Go game. They also have it at like Amazon. I think Target has it. Any of kind of game stores have it. It's just, like I said, the basic thing is just a little card game. See if you can figure out a way to incorporate something like that into your week. Maybe it's game night. Maybe it's, finding, going out and finding bugs, right? Going bug hunting. I used to take my nephews bug hunting, doing any of those fun kinds of things. So see what you can do this week as you move forward. So now we're going to do a little bit of reflection on this previous week. If you have this week's journal, or if you have April's journal, you can always do the reflection is on, let me flip through my journal and find the page that where the rosebud thorns, always at the end of each week. And so at the end of this week in April, it's on page 30, right? And there's that weekly reflections, the rosebud thorns. So a rose really is something that went really well, that we enjoyed, that we liked, a thing that made us smile during the week. So for me yesterday, I spent the day with my knitting group. We went to Fort Collins. We went to some yarn stores. Then we went to a coffee shop and just sat and hung out and knitted and talked and just had a super great time. Definitely my rose for the week. Bud is something that maybe is coming up. So an emerging opportunity, something that's coming, hasn't come yet, but something you're really looking forward to. So for me, next weekend, my husband and I are going to Las Vegas. We're going to see Sting in concert. So very excited about that little trip. And then a thorn is something that maybe is a bit of a challenge, something you're struggling with. Maybe it's something you don't have any control over, but it's still kind of making your life a little scrunchy, right? Makes you make the scrunchy face. So for us, I work full-time for a school district, and we're in the middle of a new superintendent search. And so that's a little, it's always hard when you try to find a new leader and everything's kind of, and we're at that time of the year where it's almost the end and we're getting ready to do state testing. And so that's a little bit, has been a little bit of a thorn for me, right? So reflect on this last week. You can always scroll through. Sometimes the pictures in your phone will help you. If you've had the journal, you can scroll back through last week's to see if there's anything in there. You can just kind of go through your calendar, just kind of reflect on that last week. We'll play a little bit of a song and we'll check back in here in just a few minutes. right? I love the sharing of your different rosebud and thorns from this last week, doing things like spending time with friends, having date night. Oh, Julia said, having date night. Christy's daughter turned 6. Oh, and had a fun cat party. I want to know about this cat party. That does sound fun. We've got some folks with buds. We've got people coming up with birthdays. I know we have happy birthday to all of our April babies. Always something kind of fun to look forward to. Folks with new positions that are coming up, time with family, all of those different kinds of things. And I love that you're willing to share and that vulnerability of kind of sharing some of those things that have been working well and some of those things that have not been working well, right? Because we can commiserate with you on those. So let's dive into our week, right? This first full week of April, believe it or not. So this is actually the 14th week of the 2023 year, which I still have a hard time saying that. So the first little part is that want to feel. So think about that. This week I want to feel. And so since kind of keeping with that theme of being in flow, I said this week I want to feel the flow. I want to find those things that help me feel like I'm having that flow state, because it's so good and it makes our brains so happy. Here are some other examples of things that folks have used: accomplished, in control, peaceful, mighty, and they have a fun little picture of Mighty Mouse. Light and airy, from letting things go. Let us know in the chat here what word you want to kind of hang on to this week, and really how you want to feel. I'll just play a little bit of music. You can share some words and we'll check back in here in just a second. So I see lots of words popping up. I see optimistic and confident and productive, energetic, peaceful. I saw a lot of calm. Lori, I loved that you said energetic, and that buzzy feeling I get when I feel vibrant, right? Vibrating, right? Just that buzz of just feeling so good, right? Feeling happy. Some folks have had some struggles so far in this year, right? And so they're just like, I want that happy feeling for this week. Energized, motivated, rested, relaxed, right? All of these different kinds of things, ways that we want to feel for the week. So hang on to that, right? Keep looking back at that and remind yourself, this is how I want to feel for the week. Are the things that I'm doing helping me with that feeling? And of course, you could always have the feeling, I want to feel vibrant, right? Stick with that theme for the month. Oh, and I forgot, there's another place, and I know if you're needing some help with maybe some feeling words, Jennifer can throw in a link to one of our blog posts that has this feeling wheel on there. That's always kind of helpful sometimes if you're looking for maybe some words and not quite finding what you want. Yeah, so she dropped in that mood tracker link. You can always click on that and kind of check out that feelings wheel if you're wanting to find how you want to feel and you haven't quite found the right word. So let's dive into our major 3 goals. I think this is a good place to go next, just to kind of set up those goals. These are those big overarching things, maybe things you want to accomplish this week. Maybe they're overarching for things you want to accomplish this month, and you're going to move these over from week to week. So here's some examples, lots of different ways to tackle this page, right? First of all, you can only have one goal. You can have, this is my one goal for the week. Absolutely fine. You can have 2 goals. You can have 3 goals, right? Some people, oops, how did it get to the to-dos and it's not my goals? Where are my goals? Oops, sorry about that. My slides got a little mixed up there. So for your weekly major 3 goals, you can use your April intentions if you worked on that on page 9 or page 11 for the habit tracker. So you can always look back there, find those goals to set up. You could also create no goals, we like to call them. So maybe it's things that you'll say no to that helps you in a positive way. So maybe it's no alcohol, no doom scrolling on the internet, no more than a certain number of minutes on social media, no impulse spending, no takeout meals. Maybe you want to look back at previous weeks or previous journals, find those outstanding goals. Maybe you want to frame it around a personal challenge, like a fitness challenge, a cleaning or decluttering challenge, self-care. Maybe you have like a soup salad, coming up with some new meals that you want to do for the month. And then here are some examples of those 3 things that people have done for their 3 goals. So things like declutter, organize, and clean, enjoy time with family, share gratitude with others, rest, think before you speak, don't take on extra other things, preserve time with family, prioritize sleep, make a movement plan, increase my effort at work, allow my younger self to be seen and loved, integrate new weekly goals into existing ones, give myself tons of grace along the way. So think about what are those goals that you want to kind of have. Again, it can be for the week or it can be for the month, those things that you want to accomplish. If maybe the idea of setting goals maybe is a little too much, or you're just not down for that right now, you can always repurpose this section, maybe have like 3 new words that you want to focus on for the month, new words you want to learn, movies or TV shows that you want to watch, maybe making a playlist for the week, 3 fun activities. Maybe if you're thinking, I saw some folks say that they're struggling a little bit with the theme of vibrance. I think sometimes you put a little too much pressure on yourself to think that being vibrant or feeling vibrant has to be this amazing, huge thing. For some people, it's as simple as putting on lipstick or putting on makeup in the morning, making sure that you are taking your shower regularly, right? I know some folks, when you're having a hard time, it can be hard. I mean, I know it sounds silly, but this idea of getting into the shower sometimes can just be really overwhelming. So maybe that is a goal, showering twice this week, right? Think of kind of those things that, again, go back to your feeling, go back to your intention, and kind of think of what that looks like. Also, this is the 2nd day of digging into that theme, right? Give yourself some grace. Don't think you got to get it right away. See what kinds of things folks are posting in Sonder clubs. Attend some of the other socials. We've got the Wheel of Life social coming up, I think later this week. So pop onto that, pop onto some of the other journaling socials. Have that beginner mindset, right? That open mindset to kind of see, what does this feel like, right? And I've often found the themes that challenge me the most are the ones that I really need, right? The ones that I don't get into right away. I find that when I give myself some time and I am open to that, I can feel a little bit better, right? Yes, don't forget to give yourself grace, right? So again, if you're not feeling it, don't instantly hop away, right? Dive in a little bit deeper. Think about it a little bit more. Let yourself kind of feel the feels, see what other folks are saying, and give it a chance, right? It's only the 2nd day, right? So give it a chance. So I'm going to play just a little bit of a song. We'll let you keep working on this section. Let us know maybe what kinds of 3 goals that you're going to come up with. One of my goals is going to be, I noticed as we were doing some yarn shopping, I've been working on I've been knitting baby hats for babies in the NICU for when they graduate and they get to leave the NICU. So it's like a little cap, and I make like this little mortarboard hat for the top and with a little tassel. But it's acrylic yarn, which is not necessarily my favorite, and my hands are getting kind of tired, and I've been knitting a lot of these things. And as we were in the stores, I was fondling some cashmere yarn, and I thought, ooh, I need to make my hands happy. I need to give my hands a happy feeling project. I mean, I love the idea of making caps for newborns, but sometimes it's that's all I've been doing for the past 3 months. So, oh, Michelle, I'll see if I can find a picture and drop it in the chat. But my hands need some beauty, some softness, some love. So I'm going to do that because I know I've got some up in my stash in the yarn room. That's also called the guest room, but it's really full of yarn. Don't tell anybody. All right. So see what you can think of for those goals. Play a little bit of a song, and I'll check back in here in just a minute. I know you're probably still working on these, and that's okay. I just want to make sure that we get through each one of the little areas. But I saw some folks with some different ideas for some goals that they had. Love the idea of moving your body, getting some rest, feeling more well rested, walking, working on boundaries. That is definitely an appropriate one. Shari, or Sherry, I'm probably pronouncing your name wrong, said that hers are related to the thorn from last week, right? And so doesn't want that thorn this week. So not getting overwhelmed, staying centered, not doom scrolling, and getting into the doom email spiral, focusing on priorities, don't work until you drop, maintain those boundaries, right? So all of these different ideas, these different things for goals. Some folks are saying like, okay, I still need to work on those goals from last week. I'm just going to move them forward. Absolutely fine, right? That is perfect. You can totally do that. So let's jump into, let's see, gosh, I've got everything all mixed up. I am so sorry. So we're going to jump into our to-dos. These are some examples of some things that folks have used for their to-dos. And again, sometimes this gets overwhelming, right? If you just make this giant to-do list. So think about what you want to put in here and be really intentional and thoughtful. So some people just make it a straight out to-do list. Some people will make it a ta-da list. So they'll actually write those things that they've done as they do them, right? So after they finish something, they write it in. So it's like a ta-da, it's all done. Some people really like that. Some people like to use that Eisenhower matrix, which is that thing in the bottom right-hand corner where it talks about we find things that are important and urgent, and we do those things, important but not urgent. We decide when. Jennifer's popping in a link to getting some more information on how to use this Eisenhower matrix. But the idea is you kind of really decide, do I need to do this right now? Can I delegate this to someone else? Can I actually just delete this off my list? Is this something I think I should do, but I don't really need to do? Love the bingos. And I saw someone say that they, Julia said, I went bingo board and I'll never go back, right? And it is a really fun way to do the bingo board. So here's these things I need to do. I'm going to make it in a bingo board. So when I X them off, I can get a bingo, right? So things like making a doctor's appointment or working on my coloring page, having a pedicure, and someone else did a ta-da bingo. So again, so as they did them, they kind of wrote them in and crossed them off. Some people, I like the one in the middle where they have kind of two different columns, right? Like a wants and a needs column. Here's the things that I want to do, and here's the things that I need to do, right? So kind of thinking it that way. Some people will kind of divide up maybe into like a work and home list of things to do. And the important thing is to remember the results you want rarely come without a process of gradual steps toward it first. So these are those gradual steps that you can take toward reaching your goals and having that feeling, right? Jessica did a birthday one. Oh, was your birthday last week? Happy birthday. And did a birthday bingo. Fun to cross all the things off because it was her birthday week. So fun ideas. Again, maybe you just want your to-dos are some things that you want to do to have fun. Or maybe there's some things that you want to do to help with this idea of vibrance. Maybe it's, who was it? Somebody has the sparkly Ugg slippers, right? Maybe it's wearing your sparkly Ugg slippers. Maybe it's this morning I have on kind of a silky robe, right? Maybe it's wearing your a fun silk robe, or maybe it's putting on some lipstick again, or maybe it's buying a lipstick in a fun new color, right? So kind of think of those different things. Maybe it's getting some fresh flowers, right? Think of all those. You could think of lots of different things probably to help you with that idea of vibrance and see how that goes. So I'll keep with some music, work on those to-dos, and we'll check back in here in just a few moments. All right, hopefully you've got some ideas for how you want to set this to-do section up. The other thing too is if this section doesn't speak to you, you can put some stickers in here. You can do some doodles. You can just leave it blank and use it for a scratch pad, right? Different kinds of things that you can think of. And remember, you can always leave things blank. Oh yeah, Jennifer's saying you could put in a favorite quote. You could put in lyrics from a song, right? Just again, use this for what you need. And oftentimes we differ from week to week. Oh, good, Lauren. I'm so glad that you're feeling like this is a good reset and some inspiration after a tough week. We all can use that. So let's keep trucking along. I got to get, now we're back on track here. We're going to, that habit activity thing at the bottom, right? So people will ask what's different about this versus our monthly habit tracker, which is kind of that little wheel. That's the tracker that we have. I was looking to see what page it was on. It's back here a little 11. So the idea with the monthly habit tracker is the things that you want to do every day, things that you really want to make that daily habit. Whereas the weekly, I think of it more as, here's some specific things that I want to do this week. Maybe it's not so much a habit, maybe it's just an activity for this week, but it's things that maybe I want to do multiple times, right? So you can see some different examples. People wanting to unplug, go to the gym, wake up early, drinking their water, getting outside. You can fill up all the lines with something. You can only do 3 lines. Person in the top middle did dishes, laundry, and daily ritual. They want to do the dishes 7 times that week. They want to do, or 7 days that week, laundry 3 days that week, daily ritual twice, right? So kind of what does that look like? Then the person underneath that, their main habit activity for the week is just going to be hydrate, right? They're like, I just want to focus on one thing. So again, you can just focus on one thing that you want to do, or you can focus on multiple things that you want to do. Just kind of thinking of those things that maybe work well for you, and especially for the week, right? So if you're going on a trip, maybe you want to put something in there about packing. There's also the idea that I like a lot of times is this 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 on the bottom left, where here's something I want to do 5 days this week, something I want to do 4 days, 3 days, 2 days, and then 1 day, right? So one time this week, I want this to happen. And the nice thing is when you have that in there, once you've done it, you can cross it off and you've got it taken care of, right? So it's awesome. So share with us what kinds of things that you're going to put in here. Maybe what kinds of things you're going to have. You notice the one says this, the just say no, right? So they kind of had a little theme for their habits and activities for the week. Maybe it's a just say no, maybe it's a just say yes kind of thing. So see what kinds of things that you can find, things that you want to work on for the week, and we'll check back in here in just a moment. All right. I saw lots of folks excited to try the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let us know how that works for you. I just think it's kind of a fun way to find some things that you're not trying to do them every day. That's the other thing. Don't put down 6 things that you want to do 7 times or 5 things that you want to do 7 times a week, because that just can get a little much, especially if they're brand new things, right? So again, find some things specifically for this week, and make sure that you let us know how that works. What does that look like? And you don't have to do it every week, right? If it works, great, and you want to keep it up. If it doesn't work, drop it the next week. Not a big deal. So what I'm going to do is this next page over here on page 33, I'm going to go through each one of these sections, because really the work that's on page 32 really kind of sets up the core, I think, of your week. It's got your to-dos and your goals and your feelings. So these other little sections are really maybe just ways that you can, I like to think of like micro tracking, or maybe kind of figuring out some hacks that you need to put into place to help those goals fall into line, or that feeling fall in line. So we've got the meal. So I'm going to go through each one of these, and then I'm going to give a longer time for you to work on them as you see fit. So we've got the meal plan. A lot of people like to repurpose this in a million different ways, right? We've had so many different great ideas for things that people do. So this is a good one to snap a picture of, snap a screenshot of, so that you can kind of go back to it, excuse me, and see what works. So you can always use it to plan your meals, right? It's perfect. But some people say, well, I don't really do that. Maybe I want to track my meals. So you do it as you're eating things. Again, great idea. Some people use it as an exercise tracker, or a cleaning log, or maybe it's a wardrobe planner, or a packing list, or something specific that's happening each one of those days. I thought maybe a good one, thinking of our flow idea, would be to maybe think of times that you were in a flow state on each one of those days this week, and what you were doing that put you into that flow state, right? And maybe how you felt. So again, lots of different ideas for how to do this one. So then we'll jump into the mind body health plan. So again, another one that folks maybe kind of tweak a little bit. The idea is that it's things that help your mind and help your body that you can plan to do throughout the week. So you can see some people like to do the fun alliteration, like meatless Monday, TV free Tuesday, walking Wednesday, those kinds of things. Some people actually use it. They're like, I need a meal plan, but I only need to plan my dinners. So they actually use this section to plan dinners. Again, we can do some bingo in here, right? We've got somebody who did a chore bingo, right? So kind of thinking about that. Someone who just kind of divided it up into something I did well this week and some ways I loved others this week. The one up in the top middle is there's a 7 types of rest idea. And so they kind of thought of different ways that they could help with their emotional rest, sensory, spiritual, social, mental, creative, and physical. The one down in the bottom, they have a choose one, and they actually gave themselves 3 different options for things that they could do for their mind or their body on each day. And then they can circle kind of what that looked like. So this is another good one to kind of take a snap, see what that looks like. And then the shopping list can be just that, right? It could just be a thing where you what kinds of things that you need to buy at the store. Another great place for a bingo, right? Fun place. Someone did a self-regulation bingo. So different things that they can do when they're starting to feel stress or starting to feel some anxiety. It's a good place for a quote. It's a good place for maybe a list of errands that you need to run. Maybe it's a packing list, a cleaning chart, different kinds of things. Wordle, right? You want to write down the Wordle if you're doing those. Again, and I'll cycle through these slides as I play the music for you to work on. And then there's the I am loving section, right? And some people like to fill it out at the beginning. Some people like to and reflect on the last week. Some people like to do it kind of going forward. You can use quotes, you can use pictures. So I had a couple pictures. The one on the bottom was at one of the little yarn stores I went to, where they had some little needle felted little Easter animals, right? Little chicks and bunnies and ducks. And I thought that was just super cute. Up at the top, this idea of thinking about every day as an opportunity to start, an opportunity to finish, an opportunity to stop wasting opportunities. I thought that was kind of a nice little quote. And then down on the bottom, I found this super cute little drawer. There are 2 little drawers that pull out, but they're in that yin and yang frame, right? And we did a social way back. It's probably still in the YouTube videos, where we kind of talked about balance, right? And finding balance in life. And I just love this little cubby. I don't know what I'm going to put in the little drawers, but I think it's super fun. So work on those. Let us know what you're doing, and we'll check back in here in just a moment. All right. So lots of good ideas for things that folks are thinking about doing for these different sections. Like I said, they're really nice support tools for those goals and those to-dos and those habits that you have on the other page to really think about. And Jennifer's been dropping lots of fun links in here in the chat. She's got one. There's a quiz to see what type of rest you might need. This idea of 7 types of rest based on what you're needing and what you're kind of going through and what you're feeling for that week, right? So there you go. You've got it set up, or you've got a frame, or you've got an idea for how you want to set things up. So please be sure, if you feel compelled to share any of your pages with us. Again, we love to see the examples. We take all of our examples from real life Sonder Club members. So it's so important if you want to share your weekly planner on Sonder Club. I put through in a couple pictures that I just happened to find this morning of people who had shared what they had done in the spread, kind of what that looked like. You can find those and kind of dig into them a little bit more if you pop into Sonder Club and scroll through. And Julia, I feel like the socials are getting shorter. There's a lot we're trying to cover, and it's, I swear, the fastest hour of the day. It's much faster than a treadmill hour, right? Those can last forever, but social hours are gone in the blink. Maybe they put you in a flow state, right? I don't know about you, but they kind of do. Yes, Sally's saying socials are my favorite flow state. I agree 100%. So there's a couple different, and Jennifer's going to throw some links in there. There's also some QR codes that you can scan, and you hold your phone up and you can scan. We've still got the Refer a Friend program. You refer a friend, they sign up, you get $10, they get $10. You will also get an email with a link to take the survey to let us know what you're wanting to see in socials, maybe days, maybe certain days of the week, maybe certain times. Be sure, if you share like, oh, I wish you had more 7 p.m. socials, you tell us what time zone you're in, because that makes a big difference if it's 7 p.m. In California versus 7 p.m. in Maryland, right? So let us know those kinds of things. Jennifer is also putting the Eventbrite socials list in there. We've got these different socials that are coming up. There's a lot that are included as part of your membership. We've got the 3 different journal prompt socials. All of the setup socials are included. And then we have a couple different exclusive events, and those do have an extra fee because they are not in the journal. They are extra. You get a little worksheet, downloadable worksheet that they'll send you, and it's a deeper dive into some different things. So this month we have a toolkit, like a stress toolkit. And then we also have a National Pet Month exclusive social. So those do have a small fee attached to them as well. So totally optional. So thank you all so much for joining. I hope you have a fabulous rest of your Sunday, a great week as you go through this first full week of April. And I'm looking forward to seeing you all again, hopefully in another social soon. So take care, everyone.